There is an unsettling silence hiding beneath the neon lights of the Las Vegas Strip. It's a silence you might miss at first over the roar of the slot machines or the thumping bass of the day clubs. If you look at corporate press releases, they will tell you the party has never been louder. They will point to record-breaking revenue reports, shiny new structures, and Formula One grandstands, claiming Sin City is in a golden age. But look closer, past the Bellagio fountains and the glowing sphere, and you start to feel something is fundamentally wrong. The energy has shifted. The lights are brighter than ever, but the soul of the city seems to have dimmed. Today, we dig into the uncomfortable numbers and corporate strategies to find out why the Vegas you knew is gone. We will uncover why the new blueprint for 2026 isn't designed for you anymore. It might just be a trap designed to bankrupt the average traveler while rolling out the red carpet for a select few. Walk down the Strip today, and the feeling hits you not in the face, but in the wallet. There was a time, let's call it the old Vegas era, when a trip here felt like a handshake deal. You brought your bankroll, accepted the odds, and in exchange, the city gave you affordable luxury, cheap shrimp cocktails, and free parking. They treated you like royalty, even if you were losing. It was a fair trade. But talking to longtime visitors and reading through travel forums, that sentiment has changed drastically. The handshake deal has been broken. This isn't just inflation, it is a deliberate strategy. Stick with me as we dismantle the 2026 blueprint, analyzing 7 distinct market shifts that prove this is a coordinated pivot. We will look at why visitor numbers are dropping while spending skyrockets, exposing the ruthless extraction strategy. We will examine the collapse of the middle-class experience and the barbell economy. We'll investigate the deceptive nature of recent renovations, why casinos look new while rooms look like 2005. We will dive into the looming debt crisis threatening major projects and the entertainment void turning the city into a nostalgia merchant. Finally, we look at greedflation, pricing models suggesting the city is betting everything on the super rich while leaving the rest of us behind. The math is cold, the strategy is bold, and the result is a city pricing itself out of its own legacy. Part 1. The Extraction. To understand the magnitude of this shift, we have to look at the raw data. Numbers don't lie, and there is one statistic that tells you everything you need to know about the new Las Vegas business model. It's a divergence that shouldn't be happening in a healthy, volume-based economy. If you look at recent tourism reports, actual visitation numbers are struggling. Depending on the metric you use, we are seeing a decline or stagnation of around 12% compared to pre-pandemic peaks. In a normal world, if 12% fewer people visit your business, your revenue should drop. At best, it should stay flat. But in Las Vegas, the opposite has happened. Gaming revenue and total resort spend have shattered records, reaching heights never seen before. How do you make more money with fewer people? The answer is simple and brutal. You squeeze them harder. The average spend per visitor has skyrocketed to approximately $1,322 per trip. This isn't an accident, it's an algorithm. The casinos have realized that the volume game, the strategy of the 90s and 2000s, is over. They are no longer interested in filling the Strip with millions of budget-conscious tourists hoping to get lucky on penny slots with a $500 budget. They have pivoted to an extraction strategy. Think about it from their operational perspective. It is expensive to serve thousands of average people. You need more security, more housekeepers, more front desk staff, and more maintenance for the wear and tear. It's messy. But if you can replace 10 of those budget travelers with one high net worth individual who drops $15,000 on a weekend, your overhead collapses while your margins explode. The city isn't failing to attract the average American tourist. The city is actively choosing not to serve them. They have run the numbers, and they have decided that if you are worried about the price of a sandwich, you are simply not efficient enough to be here. They are optimizing revenue per square foot, and the budget traveler is just occupying space that could be sold to a whale. Part 2. The hollow middle class. This brings us to the most painful realization for many of us who grew up loving this city: the death of the middle-class Vegas vacation. For decades, Vegas was the great equalizer of American culture. It was one of the few places on Earth where a construction worker and a CEO could stay in the same hotel, eat at the same buffet, and play at the same blackjack table. There was a middle ground, a solid, affordable tier of luxury that made the city accessible. You could feel rich for a weekend without actually being rich. That middle ground has been hollowed out. We are witnessing the emergence of what economists call a barbell economy within the hospitality sector. Imagine a barbell weight. On one end, you have the heavy, ultra-luxury segment, the Wynns, the Cosmopolitans, the high-limit lounges, catering to the international elite. These areas are pristine, exclusive, and priced at a level that acts as a gatekeeper. They are better than ever. On the other end of the bar, you have the budget options, which have deteriorated into bare-bones survival modes, often feeling unsafe, dirty, or neglected. But the middle? The bar in between? It's gone. If you are a median income earner looking for a decent room, a nice dinner, and a show, you are now asked to pay luxury prices for what is essentially a mediocre product. Let's look at the numbers. High-end buffet experiences now run $80 to over $100 per person, while the traditional mid-tier buffets, the ones that fed the middle class, have largely disappeared from the market entirely. A room that cost $130 to $150 in 2019 now runs $210 before fees. But once you add the resort fees, the parking fees, and the taxes, that room is hitting over $300 a night. For $300 a night in 2019, you were living like royalty. In 2026, $300 gets you a standard room with a view of an HVAC unit. The corporations have looked at the middle class, struggling with inflation, housing costs, and wage stagnation back home, and decided they are dead weight. They are betting the house that there are enough rich people in the world to keep the lights on, leaving the rest of us to wander through a city that no longer wants our business. Part 3. The renovation facade. But surely, you might ask, with all this record-breaking revenue, the hotels are reinvesting in the experience. Surely they are upgrading the facilities to justify these price hikes. This brings us to the renovation facade. You would expect that as prices double, the quality of the product would improve. Instead, we are seeing a strategic pullback in capital expenditure that should worry anyone planning a trip for 2026. Let's look at the top of the food chain first. Look at the Wynn, traditionally the gold standard for luxury on the Strip. When the market leader delays massive expansion, it signals something. In Wynn's case, CEO Craig Billings was explicit. Tariff impacts on imported furnishings and materials forced the $375 million postponement. Whether this reflects pure tariff pain or broader capital constraints in a high-interest world, the practical effect is the same. The modernization pipeline has stalled. Even the giants are hesitating. Now, look at the other end of the spectrum, like the Flamingo, the Rio, or similar legacy properties. We see flashy press releases about renovations. But if you look closely at where that money is going, it's rarely into the guest rooms where you sleep. The investment is almost exclusively funneled into high-traffic, revenue-generating areas: the casino floors, the celebrity restaurants, the entryways. Industry observers call this putting lipstick on a pig. It's not that the renovations aren't real. The casino floor might look great, but it's a strategic choice to focus on areas where you lose money, casinos, restaurants, while neglecting the areas where you spend your time, your room. Guests are checking into rooms that haven't seen a real update in a decade. They are finding worn carpets, tired furniture, slow drains, and noisy air conditioners. Yet they are paying 2024 luxury rates for a 2010 Motel 6 experience. It's a cash flow optimization strategy. Maximize the extraction points, minimize the maintenance costs, and hope the brand nostalgia is strong enough that you won't notice the difference until after you've checked out. Part 4. The restaurant bubble. If the room conditions are frustrating, the dining scene has become practically hostile. We have officially entered the restaurant bubble. For years, Vegas was a culinary mecca because it offered a unique value proposition. You could get a world-class meal for a fraction of what it cost in New York, London, or Tokyo because the casinos used food as a loss leader. They subsidized the steak to get you in the door to play blackjack. That subsidy is dead. It has been buried in the desert. We are now seeing what economists call pricing power fatigue. The prices haven't just risen with inflation, they have detached from reality. A standard burger and fries at a mid-tier strip restaurant, not a Gordon Ramsay spot, just a regular pub, can now easily run you $35 to $40 once you factor in tax and tip. We are not talking about Wagyu beef here. We are talking about Cisco frozen patties. Consumers are finally hitting a breaking point. You can see the resistance happening in real time if you walk the strip at dinner time. Walk past the high-end steakhouses on a Tuesday night and notice the empty tables. The reserved signs are sparse. Then walk past the In-N-Out on the Link Promenade or the Chipotle on the Strip. The lines are out the door, wrapping around the building. This isn't just because people love fast food. It's a protest. It's a rational economic response from tourists who refuse to be held hostage by $28 appetizers. People are voting with their feet and their wallets. They are trading down from sit-down dining to fast casual because the value proposition of a Vegas dinner has evaporated. When a family of 4 can't eat a mediocre dinner for less than $200, the magic of the vacation starts to dissolve. It is replaced by the stress of constantly checking your bank balance, wondering if you can afford dessert. The joy of consumption has been replaced by the anxiety of overpayment. Part 5. The debt trap. If you look at the skyline, you see cranes. You see the ambitious plans for the new A's Ballpark, or the transformation of the Mirage into the Hard Rock. It looks like progress, right? It looks like a boom. But if you peel back the financial layers, it looks a lot more like desperation. We are entering the high-cost capital reality. Many of these mega projects were conceived 3 or 4 years ago, when interest rates were near zero. Money was essentially free. Developers could borrow billions, and the interest payments were a rounding error. But today, the financing landscape has shifted violently. Interest rates have skyrocketed from the pandemic lows near 0% to over 5%. For mega projects requiring billions in borrowed capital, that shift is devastating. When your financing costs double or triple from what was projected during the planning phase, suddenly the project math breaks. A project that was profitable at 3% interest is a bankruptcy risk at 8%. Every square foot of that new construction has to generate a return immediately to service this massive debt load. This is why we are seeing such aggressive monetization. They literally cannot afford to let you have a cheap vacation. The A's Ballpark project is a prime example. It faces intense public scrutiny over its timeline and capital structure. While official statements remain optimistic, skeptical observers and analysts note that the complex funding arrangements and changing market conditions create massive uncertainty. The math is getting tighter by the day. When a corporation is drowning in high-interest debt, who pays the price? You do. The pressure to extract maximum value from every visitor isn't just greed anymore. For some of these operators, it's survival. They are building monuments to a future that assumes you will keep coming and keep spending more, forever. But what happens if the tourists stop showing up? We are looking at a potential house of cards built on the assumption of infinite growth in a finite wallet world. Part 6. The Entertainment Void. And what exactly are you paying for with these inflated prices? This brings us to the entertainment void. Vegas used to be the entertainment capital of the world. It was the place where entertainment was reinvented. It was dangerous. It was new. It was cutting edge. You went to Vegas to see things you couldn't see anywhere else. Today, the entertainment strategy feels like a glorified recycling bin. The city is suffering from a creative bankruptcy that is masked by high ticket prices and LED screens. Look at the marquees. It's a rotation of nostalgia acts, pop stars from the 90s and 2000s doing residencies. Don't get me wrong, they are talented performers, but it's safe. It's corporate. It's nostalgia arbitrage, selling your own childhood memories back to you at a 500% markup. It's a strategy designed by private equity, not by creative directors. It's low risk, high reward. Where are the new groundbreaking production shows? Where is the next Cirque du Soleil? Where are the mid-tier magic shows that a family could afford on a whim? They are disappearing. They are being replaced by superstar residencies, where the cheapest seat is $300 and you are watching the artist on a giant screen because you are so far away in a stadium. We are seeing a trend where major new shows are failing to launch or closing early because the value proposition is broken. The audience is there, but they aren't stupid. They know when they are being overcharged for a mediocre experience. The entertainment capital of the world is slowly becoming a museum of past glories, charging admission prices that only the elite can afford, leaving the average visitor wandering the strip, wondering where the fun went. Part 7. Greedflation. Perhaps the final nail in the coffin isn't debt or lack of entertainment. It's the insult of greedflation. It's the fees on top of fees. The advertised price has become a lie. You see a room for $49. That is just the beginning. Add a $45 resort fee, $20 to $25 for parking, and taxes. Suddenly, you are paying over $120. That's roughly 2.5 times the advertised price, a hidden multiplier most consumers don't anticipate. The average room rate exploded from roughly $130 in 2019 to over $210 today, excluding hidden taxes. And what do you get for that extra money? Less service. Many properties eliminated complimentary daily housekeeping. You must request it or pay extra. Free parking has become extinct on the Strip. If your rate doesn't say free parking, assume you are paying $20 a day. It's a systematic dismantling of hospitality. This angers people most. It feels predatory and breaks the psychological contract. Paying a premium now just means you are allowed to exist on the property. The nickel and diming has become hundred and thousanding, leaving a bitter taste no neon can wash away. So, looking toward 2026, is Las Vegas collapsing? Financially? No. Casinos will report record profits because they successfully pivoted to a model that doesn't need you, the average person, to succeed. They built a fortress for the wealthy and are happy to let the middle class fade away. But culturally, yes, a silent crash is happening. The spirit of Vegas, the democratic idea that anyone could feel like a king for a weekend, is dying. The city is becoming a sterile extraction machine, valuing efficiency over experience. If you plan a trip, understand the battlefield. The rules have changed. You are not a guest. You are a data point to be optimized. The lights are bright. The fountains dance. But for the first time, the house isn't just winning. They are rigging the economy so you can't even afford to sit at the table. Thanks for watching. If you felt this shift, let me know in the comments. Is Vegas still worth it? Or is the era of the Sin City vacation officially over? I'll see you in the next one.